So that's the word about co-sleeping. Now, what's the first thing you can do to help get to a place where your baby's sleeping through the night by 2 months or not long after? 7 to 8 hours of continuous nighttime sleep so that mom and you can get that much sleep too. Give full feedings. Give full feedings. Watch the videos that I've put out to this point. Listen to what we've talked about when it comes to breastfeeding and giving your baby full feedings. Study and think about what we've talked about when it comes to the feed-wake-sleep cycle. And follow it would be my advice. One of the really great things that the feed-wake-sleep cycle has going for it is that if you're building in these cycles where you're feeding the baby when it's first waking up, and that's the routine that you're in, then you are far less likely to mistake hunger cues for sleep cues. And the Secrets of a Baby Whisperer book, for example, I'm sure others will say the hunger cue and the hunger cry and the sleep cry are the two types of newborn cries that are most often mistaken for each other or confused with each other. So think about that. One of the benefits of keeping this feed-wake-sleep schedule or cycle is in the troubleshooting. If baby wakes up from a 1.5, 2 hour nap, having gone 3 hours or perhaps even a little bit more since the start of its last feeding, and is crying, this baby's hungry. This baby's not tired. Especially imagine you've been keeping track of the sleep and more or less, it's not overtired, it's not trying to work off some kind of a sleep deficit. It's more or less rested. It just needed to sleep. It's gotten the sleep it's needed. This baby is not tired. You won't even think of that. You will immediately know what to do as far as, if you hear a hunger cry. And then after the full feeding, any other cry, whatever else is, it's not hunger. And after watching the clock and watching your baby for the sleep cues, and your baby maybe by that point, an hour has gone by, let's say, for a 1 month old or 6 week old or whatever, hour 15, maybe hour 30, you start seeing the sleep cues that we're going to get to in a second. This baby's going to go down. If the baby starts to cry, which I'll teach you in a second, how to try to reduce the crying completely, because believe it or not, you can put a baby down where you will not hear any crying. We had cycles in the beginning. Not all day long. Crying is unavoidable because you're never going to be able to respond with perfect synchronization and timing. But we had cycles where from start to finish, this baby did not need to cry or fuss. And we put him down and he went right to sleep. Crying is actually a lagging indicator of sleep, not a leading indicator. And we're going to talk about that. But the first thing you can do is give full feedings and try to follow a feed-wake-sleep cycle.